Hello, hello, hello. January the 8th, 2025. Wow. Where has time gone? Time flies when you're having fun. So, we're going to talk today about 10 tips to change from reactive to proactive in situations. That's what we need to do. We need to be proactive in protecting ourselves. And we're going to learn how to do that. How to be less reactive in difficult situations, which those are situations that we run into on a daily basis, and we have to deal with them. We don't have a choice. Difficult situations happen every single day, and we just do the best we can with what we got. And we do pretty good. I think so. I know I can do better. And that's what we're going to learn today. All of us encounter experiences in life when we may be temporarily overwhelmed by a negative emotion, be it anger, pressure, nervousness, despair, confusion. In these situations, how we choose to master the moment can make the difference between proactive versus reactive, confident versus insecurity, success versus failure. And we're going to get with success. Here we have 10 ways to be less reactive in difficult situations. What all of these tips have in common is that they introduce a positive interruption to a negative mental or emotional state. These mindful interjections, however brief or long, provide a psychological opening from which you can recalibrate and choose more empowering actions. Not all of these tips may apply to your particular situation. Simply use what works and discard the rest. That's what I like about this psychology. It's just awesome. If you feel angry and upset with someone, before you say or do something you might later regret, take a deep breath, count slowly to 10. In most circumstances, by the time you reach 10, you would have figured out a better way to communicate the issue so that you can reduce instead of escalate the problem. If you're still upset after counting to 10, take a time out, if possible, and revisit the issue after you calm down. When you feel adversely about someone's behavior towards you, avoid jumping to a negative conclusion right away. Instead, come up with multiple ways of viewing the situation before reacting. For example, I may be tempted to think my friend didn't return my call because she's ignoring me. Or I can consider the possibility that she's been very busy. When we avoid personalizing other people's behaviors, we can view their expressions more objectively and reduce the possibility of misunderstanding. If you're dealing with a difficult individual, try to put yourself in the challenging person's shoes, even just for a moment, and complete the Complete the sentence. It must not be easy to be a narcissist. For example, my child is being so resistant, it must not be easy to deal with his school and school pressures. My ex-husband's a narcissist. Must not be easy for him to listen to what I have to say. My supervisor is really demanding. It must not be easy to have such high expectations placed on her performance by upper management. To be sure, empathetic statements do not excuse unacceptable behavior. The point is to remind yourself that people do what they do because of their own issues. As long as we're being reasonable and considerate, difficult behaviors from others say a lot more about them than they do about us. Absolutely. For more tips on how to deal with difficult people, you might want to read How to Communicate Effectively and Handle Difficult People, or How to Successfully Handle Passive-Aggressive People. When someone is pressuring you to make a decision you're not sure about, simply buy time and say, "I'll think about it." This phrase can instantly lift the psychological pressure and put you in greater control of the situation. Whether it's an acquaintance asking for a favor, a romantic interest pursuing a date, or intense self-pressure, take the time you need to evaluate the pros and cons of the situation and consider whether you want to negotiate a different arrangement. Or if you're better off by saying no, say no. If you feel nervous and anxious, put cold water on your face, which triggers the mammalian diving reflex and immediately slows the heart rate between 10 and 25%. It's also helpful to get fresh air, take deep breaths from the diaphragm. When you feel under stress, have a hot cup of decaffeinated green tea. Research shows that green tea contains the amino acid theanine, which helps reduce stress. Holding the warm beverage cup in your hand can elevate your mood as well. Avoid caffeinated beverages, which can stimulate your nervousness. If you feel fearful or discouraged, try intense aerobic exercises. Energize yourself. The way we use our body affects greatly how we feel. As the saying goes, motion dictates emotion. As you experience the vitality of your body, your confidence will grow. Absolutely. When you find yourself obsessing in a way you know it's not good for you, whether it's oversensitivity, unnecessary anxiety, or unhealthy rumination, use a technique developed by psychologist Eric Maisel, and say to yourself, I'm not tripping over this. Distract yourself with constructive activities to avoid being stuck. Ask for feedback from trusted peers and credible advisors to maintain objectivity. If you feel overwhelmed, confused, or uninspired, go into nature and surround yourself in colors of green and blue, which have a calming effect. Find a panoramic view and look out into the distance. Walk, take deep breaths. Immerse yourself in nature's splendor. Come back with a fresh perspective and new inspiration. When you go through setbacks and failures, ask, what is the lesson here? How can I learn from this experience? What is most important now? And if I think outside the box, what are some of the better answers? The higher the quality of questions we ask, the better quality of answers we will receive. As constructive questions based on learning and priorities ask constructive questions based on learning and priorities, and we can gain the proper perspective to help us tackle the situation at hand. I am not discouraged because every wrong attempt discarded is another step forward and another lesson learned. Thomas Edison. Abraham Lincoln lost 8 elections, failed twice in business, and suffered a nervous breakdown before he became the President of the United States. So even, not everybody does things perfectly. Bear with me. I'm looking for something that I wanted to look at. Here we go. All right, let's see how we can do this. All right. Here we go. Here we go. All right. To successfully handle passive-aggressive people, number 1, remain calm. Directly address their behavior by calling out the specific actions and use assertive communication to clearly express your expectations and how their behavior affects you. Avoid taking the bait or reacting emotionally. Focus on setting boundaries and holding them accountable for their actions. Identify when someone is being passive aggressive. I got to take this call. Be right back. All right, let's get back to this. Come on. I love computers. All right, recognize the behavior. Identify when someone's being passive aggressive by observing subtle cues like sarcasm, sighing, making indirect criticism. Stay calm and composed. Don't engage in their negativity or react emotionally. Maintain a neutral tone of voice. Absolutely. Directly address the behavior instead of ignoring it. Calmly point out the specific passive-aggressive action. Explain how it impacts you. Use I statements. Framing your response by saying, when you do, it makes me feel. To clearly communicate your feelings without accusations. Absolutely. Set clear boundaries. Establish what behavior is acceptable and what is not. Be firm in enforcing these limits. Ask for clarification. If you're unsure about their intentions, ask directly what they meant by their comments or actions. Focus on solutions instead of dwelling on the negative behavior. Try to find a constructive way to resolve the issue together. Limit engagement. If necessary, minimize interactions with the person if their behavior is significantly disruptive or harmful. What to avoid? Retaliating with passive aggression. Don't mirror their behavior, as it only escalates the situation and just makes them feel superior. Making assumptions. Don't jump to conclusions about their motives without directly addressing the issue. Taking things personally. Remember that their behavior is often a reflection of their own issues, not a direct attack on you. When to seek further support. If the passive-aggressive behavior is significantly impacting your well-being or work environment, consider seeking guidance from a trusted colleague, supervisor, or therapist. Let's see. Let's see how to deal with passive aggressive, narcissistic. Here we go. So don't take it personally, right? Be assertive yourself. Remain calm but level-headed. Seek support. Turn to friends, family, or others around you to help shut them down. Understand their behavior. Understand that it is a clinical mental disorder that requires professional treatment, which he's never had, never will. Don't try to change him, because you can't. Once a narcissist, always a narcissist. Basically, everything I read is just to stay away from them. Stay away from narcissistic people because they're all passive aggressive. They're all assholes. Disguised verbal hostility. Examples: negative gossip, negative orientation, habitual criticism of ideas. Conditions, expectations, addressing an adult like a child, invalidation of others' experiences and feelings. My ex-husband used to always ask me to plan our weekends. But whenever I would try to plan a weekend, it always got met with, don't want to do it. But if he suggested it, it was all fine and dandy. We'll do that. But not me. Disguised hostile humor. Sarcasm. Constantly sarcastic towards me, towards whatever I was doing. Disguised relational hostility. Always. Blaming. Oh my God. If anything was to go wrong, it was my fault. Stall tactics. Absolutely. Covert resistance. Absolutely. Underhanded sabotage. Constantly. I got so tired of being gaslighted. Everything that went wrong in our family was my fault. It wasn't the fault of just happened, but it always had to have a fault. And it was always my fault. Not his, not anybody else's, but mine. Okay, fine. Just blame everything on me. I'm to the point, I don't care. Blame it on me. But know that if you blame it on me, I'll throw it right back at you. Because more than likely, if you're blaming me for something, you did it. How's my baby? You don't want it? You want it? She likes popcorn. She's a good puppy. Wouldn't trade her. Mm-mm. She's a good puppy. I love her so much. But life is so funny. Life is funny. Life is good. Life is forever changing. Like I was supposed to go to lunch today, but we're not going to lunch. We're not having lunch today. We're going to have it a different day. Because somebody decided that our weather is going to be too iffy for us to have lunch on Tuesday when the weather is just gorgeous. Whatever. Let's plan it for the Tuesday after we have 6 inches of snow. I don't make these plans. She does. We'll let Ann do that. All right, so peace, peace and love to one another. Always remember to love yourself. Love yourself first, then love everybody else. And take care of yourself. Remember to like, comment, share. Subscribe. Subscribe. All right. Love y'all.